Hi, and welcome to Patrik's Tech Lightning. In today's episode, I will take you through the high-level steps of designing management groups, subscriptions, and resource groups. We will be following the guidelines of the Microsoft Enterprise Scale Landing Zone. Keep in mind that these steps, they may not be applicable for every single environment, but they will give you a very good starting block. Like I mentioned, we will mainly focus on these three design areas. We have the management groups, we have subscriptions, and we have resource groups. For this, let's just put a fictitious company out there. One of the world leaders in technical training called Patrik's Tech Lightning. This is their environment, and they also have some requirements, which are they have an on-premise data center, they have no presence in the cloud, they want an MVP which can expand. There are multiple teams and vendors that want to manage the environment. As you can see, we don't really have any technical requirements, but that's not necessarily required, as we will make sure that the initial setup is modular and scalable. So, let's first talk about management groups. Based on the environment, we know actually very little how to architecture this part. By following the enterprise scale landing zone for Microsoft, we will keep our options open. There will be a Microsoft tenant, either an existing one, or they will create a new one. Under this tenant, there will be a root management group. Now, I would say not to mess too much with the root management group. We should actually create our structure underneath that one. Let's see what Enterprise Scale Landing Zone tells us. Under the tenant root group, we can create a management group called Patrik's Tech Lightning. Now, think about the fact that there may be different teams to manage Active Directory and, for example, the networking parts. Even if everything is done by one team today, it doesn't hurt to follow the Enterprise Scale Landing Zone setup. So we will therefore create a platform management group, and underneath we'll put identity, management, and connectivity. It may seem like overkill, but it's actually awesome to be able to put policies and rights at any level and have them trickle down. I would also create a management group at this level called landing zones. This is where all our application subscriptions will come into play. Under the landing zones, that's where we can play and do things a little bit differently, and we can customize it. Patrik's Tech Lightnings, they have three environments: production, test, and development. So we'll create three management groups underneath, one for each environment. We may want to have different policies and management based on the environment. Let's say development and test environments, they need to have a very customized policies and access compared to production. Moving on to subscription, you may be inclined to make just one subscription and put everything in there. I don't really blame you for that thought. As Patrik's Tech Lightning, they foresee an explosive growth. We will set up this landing zone to be very scalable. That means we'll create a subscription for the hub, also known as the network connectivity. That's where we will place the central services such as the Azure Firewall and VPN Express Route Gateway will terminate there. The network connectivity will be under the Platform Connectivity Management Group. Think about it for a second. If the company grows or other teams start to manage the central services, we can easily assign rights and policies to all those subscriptions. We will choose to use the existing on-premise identity, Active Directory, at this moment. So we will not create a new subscription for that. However, everything is prepared for the growth and setup of this in the future. As we want one MVP with minimal workload to test the cloud, it's enough that we create 3 subscriptions for one application. One for each environment, and put them under landing zones environment. With this setup, you easily get an understanding of how easily we can scale up and out just by adding additional subscriptions. Now we're really starting to see the power of the cloud. Let's have a look at resource groups. There may be many ways we can define them and set them up. One requirement from my end is to set them up based on the life cycle of the application. Meaning, from application 1, all the components related to a certain service comes in a specific resource group. If there are special management requirements, you can easily assign it on a resource group level as well. Also, if you want to shut down, delete a certain application component, they are all bundled together. I hope this information was useful. You should now be able to understand the thought pattern on how to design management groups. Also, with regards to subscription and resource group, they all fall on the part of governance, so you have a good understanding of that now. In the future, there will be more videos that we will explain the further details as there are more governance topics. But that's for another time. Until next time, take care.